And Governor O'Malley is actually here with us now. Governor, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Obviously, you were amongst the ranks of those running for president on the Democratic side. Today, you support Hillary Clinton. The outreach was almost immediate from John Podesta to you in that email asking what it would take. Your email sounds a lot like it could have been written by someone like Donald Trump, a rigged system. What led you to write that, and why does that draw you to Hillary Clinton?
Well, look, I think all of us during the primary, anyway, in our party, were talking about the fact that when people were working hard, they couldn't get ahead, and that our system was not serving, people in our country as it once did. The question is, what do you do about that? I mean, many of us have talked about the fact that we've seen incomes decline for the last 12 years. What are the solution sets to that? I believe that they're the solutions that Hillary Clinton is offering, namely a return to common sense wage and labor policies, affordable college, making sure those at the very top, like Donald Trump, actually start paying taxes again and paying their fair share to invest in our country, our country's infrastructure, to make our country better. I mean, we're creating jobs, but last year was the first year that we actually saw median incomes go up. We need to do that every year and at a faster pace.
Okay, so I think those are all fair points, but isn't Hillary Clinton herself the embodiment of the system you're decrying? I mean, she and her husband have made personally $250 million since he left office. She doesn't run a business. She doesn't really employ anybody. She doesn't make innovative products. All that money came from her connections to people in power. Isn't she living proof that the system is broken?
Well, I would argue, Carlson, that actually Donald Trump is living proof that the system is broken. I mean, it was ironic that, here he is at Gettysburg. I think Lincoln would be rolling over in his grave to hear the sort of things that Donald Trump has done, the way he's hidden his own tax records. I mean, the guy talks about corruption and accountability, and he's the first president not to share with us his tax returns, even though his own family admits that they've received lots of money coming into their companies from Russia. So Donald Trump is part of the problem. He's not the solution to the problem. And building all of his...
Are you really I mean, I know that that's a talking point, but for real, do you really think that Donald Trump is a puppet of Vladimir Putin? I mean, that's like, there's no evidence for that. That's just like a campaign line. And our whole foreign policy is pivoting to this aggressive stance against Russia so she can win. Isn't that a little reckless now?
No. Hey, I'd love to talk with you a little more about this. I was kind of surprised that you blow this off and laugh at it because, I've always found you to be an intelligent person. But look,
because I watched the run-up to the Iraq War, that's why. I mean, come on.
The only plank of the Republican Party's platform that Donald Trump cared to change was the plank that actually was watered down so as not to be so strong against Russian aggression in Ukraine. Paul Manafort, his campaign manager, who ran away and hid once it was found out that he got millions of dollars from Russian puppet politicians. You look at the money. Oh, actually, we can't look at it because he hasn't revealed his tax returns, but the admission that they've received lots of money from Russia, his gloating about how all of the Russian oligarchs were with him when he was in Russia.
You're someone, though, that has been through this process, as we mentioned. You ran for president just this last time against Hillary Clinton. You know what it's like to run against her. You're saying that there's no... Okay, but you don't think at all that the system could be rigged? For example, like the DNC helping her get... Is there any way you think you could have had a shot against Hillary Clinton based on how things were set up? We're already hearing a lot from these WikiLeaks about all that.
Well, sure. I mean, look, I made it very clear at the time. I kicked over the soup in a rather, in a pretty angry way that we had limited the numbers of debates that we had. But look, at the end of all of the votes, Hillary Clinton won the most amount of votes. She's our party's nominee, and I am glad to support her against the fascist threat that is Donald Trump. And I don't use that term lightly. Yeah, hey, let's unpack that a little bit, shall we? I mean, here's a guy who encourages his opponents to resort to violence. Here's the guy who talks about giving religious ID cards.
Let's take Donald Trump. Did Joe Biden not say, let's take Donald Trump behind the gym and beat him up? Where's the outrage from Martin O'Malley on that? Does that make him a fascist?
If you disagree with him, just say, I disagree with him on this and the other thing. Why are you calling him a fascist?
I think it makes Joe Biden Joe Biden. I'll tell you what Joe Biden has never called for.
But Donald Trump is a fascist.
No, Joe Biden's never called like Donald Trump has for religious ID cards for Muslim Americans. Joe Biden has never called, as Donald Trump has, for a massive wall and mass deportations and the creation of stateless people, kids that are born in the United States of America to have their families broken up. Joe Biden has never called for the sort of white militant ethnic nationalism that Donald Trump calls for. Yes, all of those things, Tucker. Donald Trump is a fascist threat to this country. And I think he's going to be repudiated.
May I ask one question, though? You really believe, you just said this, but it's hard for me to believe that you think this, that building a wall along our southern border is fascist? I mean, the majority of Americans want that. Are they fascist, too?
Well, let's see what the people of Texas have to say about that. It's interesting that Donald Trump doesn't have the balls to talk about the wall when he's in Texas, because even conservative people down there don't want a giant wall built across their state. Look, we are a land of opportunity because of our diversity. We are the land of opportunity because we're a land that understands that immigrants make us stronger in every generation. And I believe, truly, that Donald Trump is going to be repudiated, and he might even lose Texas because people don't like those sort of white racist appeals.
So he's going to lose Texas because of the wall. I don't understand that at all. But if you look at the rigged system,
well, let's talk about Arizona.
People could be frustrated that not a single question gets asked about the Clinton Foundation, not a single question gets asked about $12 million from Morocco, and then instead they ask her about Miley Cyrus. Why wouldn't the American people be frustrated that questions are never asked of Hillary Clinton, yet Donald Trump's a fascist?
Well, no, look, I'm frustrated that more questions weren't asked about climate change. There was never, I think, 3 debates and not one question about climate change. I believe climate change, as Hillary Clinton does, is a tremendous business opportunity for our country. Look, there's much about this debate process I'd like to change. There's much about our own press that I would like to see lifted out of the ditch of tabloid entertainment. And I think we will. Look, we're a great country, not because we have
You said he had no balls.
No, but he's a I mean, look, if he called you a communist,
I'd like to go back to that.
I would say, hey, Donald Trump, don't call him a communist. Tell me what you disagree with. Fashion, that doesn't elevate the debate at all. It diminishes
well, look,
you.
Ben, hey, I just went through several of the points.
No, but that's not
Carlson, what do you think about... Carlson, what do you think it is when a man calls for religious ID cards for some Americans?
Governor,
look, I'm not the only one. Go Google it. There's a whole body of academic thought on this that says Donald Trump is a classic fascist candidate who's taken over the Republican Party.
You guys can talk over the phone. We're going to have to leave it there. Governor Martin O'Malley, thanks for being here.
Hey, go Hillary. Thank you.